A new year, a new dumb Matpat controversy. Par for the course on this channel, wouldn't you say? Hi! So, I'm Manga Comment and... I found this video to be after the new year, but since a lot of people brought this to my attention, I felt I needed to talk about the situation while I'm working on some other projects for you guys to enjoy this year. So, Matpat.
No, shh, he is legend.
Yeah, but I'm gonna start immediately saying that I found this entire situation to be completely dumb.
Oh my.
How it was going about, how it was being dealt with, and how this tends to be a bit of a continuing issue that I've seen more than a few times with Game Theory. So if you don't know, Game Theory recently did a live stream of the game Heartbound, and honestly the creators of the game, Pirate Software, had a bit of an issue with the live stream. As you can see from the tweet, the video in question was more of an Undertale clickbait mashup instead of being about the actual game they were covering. At least that's how it was presented in the title, tags, and in the description. There's also how Matpat reacted, from passing the buck to explaining why he doesn't link to games that aren't fan-made or free in his description. It got to the point where even Toby Fox got onto his case, with Toby saying that Matpat was misleading his audience and how Matpat should link to any games that he plays, regardless whether or not they are fan-made or not. Now, according to Matpat, he says that this is a standard, or at this point, used to be a standard. Now, I'm tempted to go see if the rest of the original games that were on Matpat's livestream channel. Of course, at this point, at this time, they're probably being edited, and I don't really care about the situation too much, just enough to talk about it. I didn't care to look that up. Now, obviously, it should be stated that Matpat has changed the description and the tags, and will be doing that from now on for every video he does point out on his live stream. Problem solved, right? Well, not really. You see, there's a bit of an issue. When I talked about Game Theory more in depth with the video about how Matpat took assets, or his team did, for a Doki Doki Literature Club video, I got an interesting comment on said video. That comment was about how Matpat used a graphic in one of his Bendy and the Ink Machine videos and the artist wasn't being credited. Now again, the issue was resolved, and if you look towards the description now, the artist is being credited. It should be known that the artist initially told me that they left a comment and it got deleted. Now I'm not saying that it did, it's possible that the comment was put in the spam folder or something like that, and it should be known that if you do want to contact Matpat and you're an artist whose graphics or art was used without your permission, the best way to go about it is to go directly through Reddit. However, the bigger issue now, I'm not saying how Matpat responded to the situation was good, nor do I want to ride him on it, and how it was handled is kind of to me. Now, for all I know, Pirate Software could have attempted to contact Matpat privately. However, since there's no evidence proving that they did or didn't, I can't assume either intention. This tweet could have been the last ditch effort, or it could have been the first thing they attempted to do so. But Matpat, as the boss of your team and considering that it's your brand, face and name on the line, you should have more quality control. Whenever there's an issue in your videos, it always seems to go to your staff. You did in your Persona video draw attention to a part of Matpat's pinned comment, which I do admit was interesting to say the least, but what's interesting even more is this line. There were a few facts that this one that I either forgot to double check because I assumed I knew them off the top of my head, or I could have explained better. And this is interesting because there was another comment that he posted saying, I checked it with two other people who know Persona really well. Mother's Basement and my personal friend who recommended the theory in the first place. They checked both the script before I recorded it and final video. Sometimes people just overlook things.
Nasty.
Yeah, these are kind of conflicting, since you're saying that you didn't double check, but in this comment you're saying that two people double checked your work. And you're doing it now. They're all nameless, faceless people, but as soon as something goes up, it's like, oh, it wasn't me, it was the people who I hired.
Were you knocked on the head or something? What?
Like I said, I disagree with how Matpat decided to bend the algorithm over to get people to watch his videos, but not only that, it's really disrespectful to the games, the creators, and the audience itself. Painting the game as next Undertale is fine if you think the game is great. However, painting the game as nothing more than just that is the issue, especially when the game has an obviously different thematic going for it, as well as different mechanics and gameplay. Even then, I find it hard to believe that no one would show up to your livestream, Matpat. You're a very popular YouTuber. People will watch your stuff regardless of the topic. Your own channels prove that, even if half the time your videos tend to be nothing more than fancy word salad. People People like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye who do this for a living will often more than not link to whatever games they're playing in their videos if it's possible to do so. It's how a lot of people are able to get into the games. Of course, the obvious counter will be, well, people don't read the description, and if they want to find the game, they can just search it up. Problem with that logic is a little twofold. First, if the video is focused on the subject, or it's a key part used multiple times in the video, then it should be linked as a main source. It's a problem that I've called Matpat on multiple times in the past when he doesn't link his research to his videos. Especially when sometimes that research can prove his theories wrong. Secondly, from what I've seen, and this can be argued either way, when an audience is watching a video game based video that's pretty much not a review or a critique, they're coming for the personality of the channel or just want to be entertained. Of course, that's not me trying to say that's the only reason why people will watch those kinds of videos, but in my experience, not only in live stream, but seeing Matpat's live streams a few times, that's the vibe I've gotten. I'm willing to be wrong on that, but my point is that there are people who don't come for the game but for the personality out there. There's also the wording that Matpat used. I don't even review the thumbnails. I have two guys to do that.
Yes, I know, it's stupid.
Matpat, this is one of the dumbest things I've heard in a while coming from you, and that's saying a lot. You're essentially admitting that it wasn't one person who screwed up, but 3 people who did. Also, way to admit that you're doing it to use Undertale and Deltarune in your tags when the games have nothing to do with the other than being inspirations. Other than that, there's no real connection and it shouldn't be in the tags. You are literally making false tags here by this own logic. Look, Matpat has been called out before for taking things that aren't his. And I use Matpat instead of game theory since Matpat is game theory. One thing that people kept saying in my latest video about directly talking about Matpat is that people were saying that his editors are to blame and not him for these sorts of issues. The problem is that people who make that claim have never worked in a position akin to a manager. If an employee under your care makes a mistake that is pretty big or such, then the manager is also responsible since the employee is under his care and supervision. It doesn't matter if it was an editor who did that. It's still an employee under Matpat's care who needs to be responsible for his employee's actions. And it's just kinda dumb. Also, I look forward to watching as half the people in the comments call me a hypocrite for using similar tags in my video, even though I'm drawing a Deltarune character talking about the maker of both Deltarune and Undertale, Toby Fox, and it's more related to the subject matter. Well, and if there's one more thing I can talk about that happened, oddly enough, just the other day when I was working on this script right now, a channel by the name of Legal Eagle, an actual copyright lawyer who does this sorts of things on his YouTube channel and talks about law all the time, had Matpat take inspiration about the Carlton vs. Fortnite case going on. I'll link his full video so you can see, but I figured I'll play a clip that kind of helps my point.
I'm glad that Matpat found my video interesting, and I'm glad that you, a fellow Legal Eagle, find it interesting as well. But come on, man. When a channel with 11 million subscribers rips off the actual hard work and analysis of a tiny channel, the least you can do is drop me a link. And maybe next time, leave the copyright law to the actual copyright lawyers.
Yay for justice! The little guy wins his money back from the greedy corporate overlord.
You see, throughout that video, Legal Eagle points out that there are many times where Matpat kinda takes his points a little too close to his original video.
So given that this is a matter of first impression where the courts really haven't weighed in on what constitutes copyright infringement in the context of a dance or a choreography, who's going to win these lawsuits?
Since dances became copyrightable in 1976, no one has actually made the court define what constitutes a social dance. So the law is a bit overdue on that front.
Heck, he even says that it's circumstantially best to prove that Matpat did take it. Again, it comes down to different interpretations, but still. There's also the fact that, side note, and I have to talk about this, Matpat got things wrong. Again, if you want more information about this, I will link you to Legal Eagle's video in my description. So it's kind of funny that this sort of thing keeps happening to Matpat's channel. It's an issue that keeps being brought up time and time again, and like Legal Eagle said, the best way to fix this is to drop a link. It's not even that hard of a thing to do, and Matpat and the game theorists shouldn't be told to do this thing when a creator finds out about their work and calls them out on it. Look, I get it. Sometimes the line of what should and shouldn't be credited is blurry. I'm not going to be perfect and say that I've always credited people properly in the past either. But for a channel with over a million subs and a full-on staff of people working on the videos every day and week, this is simply not acceptable. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your opinion on this. Like I said, I am planning on working on new videos in the coming days and probably get some new content out to you guys. Got a couple videos that I need to finish up from last year, but yeah, hopefully that'll get done. In any case, I'm Comment, and remember to examine your fandom. Thanks for watching.